We are live. We are live. What's going on Facebook? What's going on Facebook? I'm gonna put a little groove on for right now before we get started. I'm gonna let
Okay.
some of y'all come on in. And this is Brian McKnight. Used to be my girl. If y'all continue messing up, she gonna be
Uh-oh.
gone.
She continues to mess up the girl.
I mean, both sides mess up.
There we
Both
go.
sides. Both
There we
sides.
go. That's
There's
better.
no, there's no him or she. Some of them, the thing is, who can put up with the most mess? You know,
Yeah, that's a good question.
that is a good question. We're gonna have to ask that question ourselves because man,
How is my volume? Is my volume okay, or should I use
yeah.
this?
I got this on because the mic is closer to my mouth and
Okay.
it blocked out a lot of noise.
Yeah. Well, if I sound weird to you, I won't worry about it.
Yeah, y'all, we got Brian McKnight on right now. Oh, turn that up too loud. Hey, she's not worried about me. And I don't. Hey, when y'all are live, don't go hating on me. It's just a day you gotta take it, you gotta. It's all the same. Hold the hand. Hey, you was my girl. She used to be my girl. Hey, bet you didn't know about way back then. She was my girl. She used to be my girl. Ha ha ha. That's Friday night. I need y'all to get your questions in right now. Get your questions
Can you
in.
tell people signing on coming in?
Yeah, we have two. We have four. All right. So we're gonna turn this down a little bit. That's Brian McKnight, ladies and gentlemen. I want to welcome you to Friday, Doctor Love Friday, and I am the Doctor of Love, Stephen Pierce. And who do we have our co-host with? Go ahead.
Love and Relationship Matters with Linda.
Yeah, we're not gonna have a guest tonight. We just gonna
Okay.
run this. We gonna run with it. I didn't want anybody. I'm like, man, I'm not, because I'm kind of pumped up about next week.
Okay.
Because next week we're gonna start. I'm gonna start bringing my celebrities in. So
Okay.
I wanted to take a break tonight and talk about that, and then we can answer a few questions. And once my celebrities start coming in, we're gonna start going back to the beginning and answering the questions that we've already answered, because
Oh,
new guests, they haven't had the questions that we had in the past. So
okay.
yeah, we're gonna go there. So once again, I'm Stephen Pierce, the Doctor of Love, and we want to welcome you to the Doctor of Love Friday. Go ahead and get your questions in, and then Linda's going to start us off with the first question.
Oh, yeah. We have some questions that
Okay.
we got today, and we have several from Toy.
Okay. Okay. Well,
We'll start.
let me introduce who's going to be on next week. We have, if you guys heard of Doug Rashid. Doug Rashid is he's a producer. He's won a Grammy, an Emmy, or something like that. I forgot, whatever the music is. He did Gangster of Paradise for Coolio and a lot of other hits. So he'll be on next Friday. Guess who we have on right now? Yes, yes. We got Damon Allen, the great Hall of Famer. Damon Allen is in the house. He lives in Canada. Damon,
Woo-hoo.
Damon, shoot me your address, email address, and I can put you on right now. Mike is on almost every week. He'll be on later. I know Mike will be. Damon, if you want to answer some love questions, some relationships questions, shoot me your email and I'll send you an invite. It has to be on the computer and we can pop you in. He was my quarterback in high school. I always tell everybody he's the greatest quarterback ever lived. I was just telling who I was on. Hey, Damon, I was just on a Zoom call with Jeff Garcia 2 days ago. You know, the quarterback for the 49ers. And I was telling him, I said, I don't mean no disrespect, but Damon Allen is the best quarterback I've ever seen, ever. So that's my shout out to D Allen. And we got viewers right now. Go ahead. Let's go on to the first question.
Okay. Yeah, and hopefully we'll get more in tonight. But the first question that we had today came right away, right after you did your post from Toy. And her question is one of her questions. What would make someone believe they have a chance of winning back an ex?
Winning back an ex.
Yeah. What would make a person think or believe that they have a chance to win back their ex?
Man, well, there's always a chance because they chose you in the first place. But then there's always not a chance because they got rid of you. You know, sometimes it's just best to move on. Once a breakup, because once you mess up or break up the first time, then that's always going to be there. Because once you get back in that relationship, they're going to continue seeing your flaws and you're going to continue seeing their flaws. But I'm not saying that to discourage you, but it can work because you guys know each other. You know what I'm saying? But we were just talking about not settling, but what were we just talking about? I forgot, my mind and went off. But I say give it a try. I mean, you know, you can always go back to your ex. You know, yeah. What do you say?
Well, I think what would make a person believe that they have a chance to win back their ex is because they believe they can. Now, I'm not sure where that come from, other than the fact that maybe they've broken up with the person before and you allow them to come back. So they feel that they can win you back, or they know that you have them still in your heart, because you can break up with a person knowing that it's over with. But at the same time, you know, if that person comes around, I'll put it this way. Every now and then you run into that one person that you're weak to, and they know that you're vulnerable to them, and they will keep coming back because they know they can.
Is that why people like break up for years and get back together, break up for years and get back together? I mean, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. And you think that's the person that's your destiny? Is that the person that are you just trying to make it work, or you just can't find another person, or that person is the one, but just keep breaking up? What do you say?
And I think too, it's because someone has not gotten over the person. See, an ex only comes back to the one he knows he has a possibility of getting or winning back to them.
You say he. What about she? Oh, okay.
I did say he, right?
Yeah, you say he. What about
he or she? They come back because they believe they can. They know that you're vulnerable to them. They feel that you love them. And that's the very person sometimes that have a difficult time, cannot believe the fact that you've moved on with someone else.
Yeah. You know? Sometimes people in a relationship, they just don't want to see you with somebody else. Mm-hmm. You know, it's hard to see your ex with somebody else because you always thought you were going to be that one, the only one. You know, and is it me, or when you break up with somebody and then you see them for years later and they look better? Has that ever happened to you?
So, you know, in my case, I haven't seen that happen yet, because I'll put it this way. Some people, when they split in a relationship, they work on becoming their best self. You know, right. A woman typically will, you know, go through a major hair change. You know, she'll lose weight. You know, she's trying to look all fine and sexy.
Right.
My experience personally, I haven't seen where a brother will always go through those extremes, you know, like, okay, this is over with. And then in cases, you know, I know they do, but I haven't had that to happen. So where I look later and think, oh, wow, no, I have not had that happen, but I'm not saying that it doesn't.
So do women lose weight because they're stressed out from the breakup, or they're losing weight to find their new man?
I think that's part of their whole rediscovery of trying to move forward, to feel better. They go through this metamorphosis to do so.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen women, a guy leave a woman and she lost a lot of weight just to look good for her next man. And my question is, why did she lose weight for the man she was with? You know what I'm saying? Someone, it goes both ways. It goes both ways,
Yeah.
though.
I think that in a relationship, sometimes there's so much stress in the relationship that we slowly kill one another. And once people are out of the relationship, the stress starts to go away. And of course, they can focus on themselves as opposed to the issues that are going on, the arguments, and when you have unresolved issues constantly in relationship, it creates a lot of stress in your life. There goes the weight gain and all the other things that happen sometimes. You don't look your best, nor can you be your best if you're in an unhealthy relationship.
Right.
Okay.
It's just, to me, I just say, respect yourself, and you dress for yourself and look good for yourself. Have pride in yourself, and
Well, I
trust
think
yourself.
yeah, and I think that's what happens. A person comes to the point where I need to do this for me.
Right.
And it's about the recreation. But anyways, let's move on. We don't want to spend too much time on one question here.
All right. Gina's saying, hey, Gina, what's up? Hey, y'all need to tune in. Go ahead and post up here the Simi Braxton show and what days to watch them. I'm on that show every Tuesday from 6 to 8. It's the Simi Braxton show. So Go ahead. Gina, pop a question up there. What question you want us to answer? I know you have some relationship questions.
Okay. So the second question that came from Toy was, if someone lost a soulmate, what would you think their chances of finding another one would be, and why? That's an interesting question. If you lost your soulmate, what are the chances of finding another soulmate?
Well, what's your boy name from Chicago? Always in front of the camera when people dying and Black Lives Matter. What's his name again? Not Malcolm X, not Martin Luther King. What's his name? Jesse Jackson.
Oh.
Jesse Jackson he always said, keep hope alive. He said, keep hope alive. Hey, there's somebody for everyone. If somebody break up with you, you break up with them, and that's your soulmate. Oh man, I don't know, because if you feel that that's your soulmate, that's always going to be your soulmate. You might find another person, but I believe you're always going to think about your ex, because you think in your heart and your mind that was your soulmate. But I've had people that went through relationships and they thought this person was a soulmate, but then they got with somebody else later on and they figured out this man was the soulmate or this woman was their soulmate, because everybody's different. So
and I think sometimes that word is used a little haphazardly. Like, what does a person really mean when they say someone is their soulmate? What is the definition of a soulmate? And I just, for the sake of it, just kind of looked at, because we hear it all the time. And the definition that I saw here states that a soulmate is a person with whom one has a feeling of deep or natural affinity. This may involve similarity, love, romance, platonic relationships, comfort, intimacy, sexuality, sexual activity, spirituality, compatibility, and trust. So when you look at the word soulmate, like what is a soulmate, I think oftentimes what we're referring to is the connection that we feel with an individual. And do I believe you can have a bond, a connection with more than one person? Absolutely. Now, how long does it take you to run around and come around again? I believe that life offers windows of opportunity. And when you miss one, sometimes it's a long time before that window opens again.
Right. And
so, Troy, I hope that answers your question, because there's no specific answer to how long it takes for it to come around. I don't know if anyone has ever measured that. But what I will say, I find that that deep connection that we're looking for is not something that you find every day. And secondly, we call it chemistry sometimes. You can feel it with a person, but then as love deepens, the relationship deepens if that happens. Some people are afraid to go deeper. But it's just one of those things. But because there are 8 billion people on the face of the earth, there is another one out there. But how long it's going to take to find him or her, I don't know. I don't know.
But I believe happiness is within yourself. Your soulmate, you. You know, you make yourself. Go ahead.
I was going to say, well, you know what? Notice in that description, it didn't say anything about happiness. See, so yeah, happiness is something that, it talked about intimacy, comfort, trust, connection, love, romance, but it didn't say anything about happiness. So I don't know to answer your question.
I would think romance is happiness. I mean, all those things you said is pretty much happiness.
Well, they produce happiness, but you should be happy before you achieve all of those things.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Because
they do produce
can't nobody, I'm gonna just be honest, can't nobody make me happy but myself.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be happy. I'm waking up happy. That's me. The worst thing can happen to me, and I'm like, I'm still gonna be happy because I know and I believe, I'm a believer that my best day is my next day. You know what I'm saying? You got to believe that. You got to believe that people have bad days. I'm like, yo, don't get down because tomorrow's going to be better. And you have to believe that. You have to be. I was just in a conversation last week, or not even last week, this week, with a person that is just so negative. Everything came out of their mouth is negative. And I will always try to tell her, I was like, you can't live your life negative because when you talk negative and you breathe negative things is going to happen to you. That's just what happens. I said, why do you think? She said, you're always happy. I said, because I choose to be happy. I choose that. When you think I'm negative, I might say something bad about somebody, but that's not me being unhappy or me being negative. I'm just saying something bad about that person, But you got to make yourself happy, and you got to think positive to make yourself happy, because can't nobody make you happy. You happy but yourself.
Exactly. I see Jacqueline has a question there. How do you balance a relationship with an introvert personality and extrovert personality? Okay, one person is an introvert and one is an extrovert. How do you balance that?
Hey, that's a relationship I'm in now. man, I'm in one right now.
Yeah, well, you know what I always say to that? I think that differences can bring about beautiful things. I really do. If both people are attuned to it. And I think the balance in those relationships comes when we have to do things that we're not always comfortable with. I know as an introvert, they basically just require your downtime. This is when they recharge and refuel. And they're okay being around a group of people, and they're okay if they're not around a group of people. But for the most part, if they've been around a group, then they will later want to recharge. Okay, I did A, so I'm not doing B and C. I'm done. I'm tired. That's enough. That's their downtime time. And then for the extrovert, they really like the hoopla, the people, the crowds, and the interactions. So I think the balance comes in recognizing that you can both get some of what you want in that relationship, and then you both give to the other one. So if you have if your mate is an introvert, then sometimes they just want that quiet time with you. They don't want a group or a crowd around. They don't want friends around. They just want my time with you. Give them that. And then on the flip side of that, an introvert has to be willing to mingle a little bit. And then sometimes, having that understanding, you can both do your own little thing, but you can't forsake coming together and, balancing each other's love language there or personalities.
Yes. So you know what it is? And this is the beautiful thing about relationships. the beautiful thing that makes things work in relationships. Now, Linda, I'm gonna ask for your help with a little bit of math. All right. So let's just say the extrovert is 70% and the introvert is 30%. So in order to make that 100 and or the 50-50, you got to give a little bit. You got to give.
I'm not sure what you're measuring when you say.
Well, the balance of a relationship. What's beautiful is about, they say opposites attract. So if my girl, I know she don't want to go out or go have fun or go whatever, I have to lean a little bit about not going places too much as she don't like. But at the same time, she has to go, with me sometimes to, fill that void to make it even. You know what I'm saying? So, because if I'm going and having fun and just, laughing and joking and she's sitting at home, then that's not a good relationship. So what I'm saying is I'll bend a little and she'll bend a little to make it 50-50. And I think that's a beauty about being in a relationship and making a relationship work, because no relationship is easy. It all takes work. And that's awesome.
And I think that's what I was saying. I just didn't put percentages on it. And one reason I don't put percentages on it, because how do you measure love? How do you measure giving? The balance really comes when two people are willing to say, okay, babe, you want to do this, I'll do it. They can have that conversation about when one really can't take that extra step versus when they can and make the sacrifice to go. And I think when you have two people together who really love each other and want to connect when they're concerned about each other's lives and their attention, their needs, what they need, when you're attuned to that, you will just know. And this goes back to soulmates. Soulmates really, as relationships deepen, when you start talking about, and we're talking deepening in connection on the different levels of life. We're spirit, soul, and body, our psychological, emotional state of being. You're connecting with time. Two people should be connected emotionally, where they can feel one another. And then spiritually, that connection, that bond that we build between people that's stronger than our desires, that turns out to be sometimes a little selfish because I want to do this and you don't want to do that. So, and instead of that friction, we lean more toward empathy and understanding. And we listen from that third ear to hear whether or not we're actually ministering to each other's need. That's what love and relationships is all about.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
But some people don't want to try different things, or they don't want to, I don't know, how do you say it? They just don't want to try different things, or new things. They're used to what they're doing. And, because I was in a relationship with my wifey that I had got a boat, and she would never go out on my boat for like 2 years. And I'm like, and I don't like being alone, right? I can't stand being alone. So me and Seven, my little boy, he rolls out there with me, but it's still like you being alone. But then I take friends out and they love the boat, they love the water and all that. And wifey was like, I only do cruise ships. I'm not getting in that little boat. But one day I was like, you going on this boat? This boat is relaxing and the water is relaxing. You going on this boat today. I was on one that day. I kind of said a few cuss words and all that, but she went. And within 10 minutes, she was laid back, feet up. She said, this is beautiful. I said, I've been telling you that it's beautiful. You got to try different things. So what I'm saying is she or your partner needs to lean a little bit and try things, and you need to work a little bit with your partner.
Exactly.
And so you guys can come to a happy medium,
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's it. Mm-hmm. So what do we have? We have anything else? What else?
Yeah, we do. Okay, I went there, so I'm going to come back to the questions and then I'll go back to the screen in a moment, because we do have some questions and comments there.
Also, my guy, God dang it, what is his name? Marcos Marcos, we went to Vegas a couple weeks ago. He said he's mad at us because we never answered his questions. And I went back today trying to find them. He said he had like 4 or 5 questions that we never answered.
That week was so off.
It was. We had so many questions too.
I'm not even surprised that
Yeah.
we didn't get some of them. So
Okay.
tell him to shoot those questions back to you.
Yeah, I have to find them. They're still up. Let me say a little announcement again. Hey, next Friday, I think next Friday we're gonna start. I'm gonna start bringing my celebrities back on. But I wanted to take a break this night. Next week we're gonna have Doug Rashid. He is the producer, Emmy, Grammy Award winner. He wrote Gangster Paradise for Coolio and a few other hits. So he'll be on answering love questions. I believe, don't get me wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, he used to be married to Gladys Knight. Not Glad, is it Gladys Knight or Patti LaBelle? He used to be married to one of them or something like that. I might be making that up, but I know he was married to somebody like that. So we're going, he's to be on Friday. So y'all tune in next Friday. Actually, I ain't gonna say that, but next Friday from 7 to 8. So we'll see y'all then. Go ahead. Let's go with another question.
So since we were talking about the whole ex thing here, Gina says she's friends with her ex, all of them, and still close with the moms. They also love Simi. And I'm assuming Simi must be the new husband or spouse, mate. Simi goes over to my ex-mom's house to do her hair and helps out my other ex-moms from time to time. Some folks think that is strange. What do you think? I think it's fine.
I think it's fine.
Yeah. If people get along, I think it's excellent because only mature people can do that. Hopefully no one has any hidden agendas, but mature people can break up and not hate each other. I've seen extreme hate before because I worked in family court. And as a mediator, this is what you saw. When people break up, they go to war. They take the children away from the ex's house. They don't want the kids to visit their grandparents. And, these are the things tangled up in court. And it's horrible. I've seen cases where, the exes bring their new mate with them to do exchanges and someone gets into a fight in front of the children. Love is better than war. That's all I can say. And if there are clear agendas there and people can trust each other at that level, I don't think it's strange.
My thing is trust yourself. You don't have to trust your mate or whatever. Trust yourself. You got to trust yourself to trust your mate. You know what I'm saying? Either you're going to be with him or her or you're not.
Exactly.
I'm going to tell you one thing. This is what I'm telling you. I'm telling y'all this from the heart, right into the camera. They're going to do what they want to do anyway. So trust yourself and be happy. Go do your thing and trust that your partner is doing the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Don't even listen to your friends who come like, girl, homeboy, I saw your girl. Don't even listen to that. Don't even listen to that because 95% of the time, that's not even true. It's just people hating on you and hating on them or they don't like your relationship. So don't stop listening to people who's not even in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? There's some bitter people in there and they don't want you to be happy. Be happy. I'm telling y'all to be happy, make yourself happy. Only you can make yourself happy. So trust yourself that you trust the other person, and don't even put that in your mind or in your heart that, he's with his ex or he's with that ex and now they messing around. Hey, let that go because life is too short. Life is way too short.
Yeah. So anyway, hopefully that answers your question because I don't know the dimensions of those relationships, but if you all can work it out, hey, fine. Okay, so we're going to go back to our note that we got earlier. And this question says, can someone be in love with more than one person at the same time?
Oh, okay. Let me answer that
and
first.
How? That's the question.
Let me answer
you
that.
Want to take that one? Okay.
Let me answer that. Number one, what is love? the doctor's love. But yeah, I love all of y'all. So is that a bad thing? Let me see. Jacqueline, I love you. Toy, I love you. Gina, I love you. Bridget, I love you. Come on, man. Linda, I love you. So that question should be asked in a different way. You know what I'm saying? In love with or in a relationship with, because I get that. I get this all the time about me. Steve, you must not make your woman feel good or feel happy because you tell everybody you love them. That's kind of watering it down. But I always go back to, I know who I'm going home to.
Mm-hmm.
She knows
Well,
who I'm going home to.
and it goes back like, we use the word love, I think, a little loosely. Like, okay, for instance, I love chocolate cake. You may love red velvet cake. And we use that word love. So when we start expressing love to other people, I'm going to assume because they work this question that they must be talking about romantic love for two people at the same time. That's what I'm going to assume. Because again, like if we were used to Greek mythology of love, we would talk about love from an agape perspective, which means that this is the unconditional love that God has toward us. And unconditional love or agape love is the foundation of all love. And then from that, we have eros, which is the erotic love or romantic love from a man to a woman. And then, of course, there's filial love. And with filial love, there we're talking about friends. No, family for filial love and storge for friends or whoever. So it depends what you're talking about. But because they asked this question, I'm going to assume that they must mean that you're in love with two people. And can that happen? It can, but unless you're going to live a polygamous life, then you have to make a decision. You can love someone and not be in a relationship with them.
She said, yes.
You can have love
in a relationship.
You can have love for more than one person.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And Cheryl, I love you too. And Gina corrected me. Doug Rashid used to be married to Shaka Khan. So that's who will be on the show next week. So answering love questions.
Yeah, okay.
So he used to be married.
Let's go back to the screen. Thank you for that, Gina. So Bridget I hear the word trust when you are defining soulmate, but do we really trust in relationships? When most that believe in God sometimes fail to trust God. If we don't trust in the one person we would trust, could trust be a little overrated in this world in relationships? Well, I don't think it's overrated.
I do.
You think trust is overrated?
I think trust.
Maybe I don't understand what you mean by that.
I think trust is
overrated. When I hear something that's overrated, mean that it's really not necessary. So what does overrated mean? Maybe that's what I'm missing.
Well, I think she's saying trusting somebody else is overrated. But like I said, if you trust yourself, then trusting somebody else don't matter. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Dude, I've been in a predicament myself once. And somebody said something, I was doing something, but it wasn't true. But then somebody came back to me and said my girl was doing something. And I was like, man, I ain't trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear nothing negative that she's doing or whatever. I'm not trying to hear that because I trust myself. I trust myself to trust her. So I ain't trying to hear it. I'm just living and being happy. That's it. Don't tell me nothing about, because you don't know. I already know you don't know. So I'm not trying to hear that because I'm trusting myself, and that's it.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure what overrated means, but I don't think trust is overrated because I think that trust is the foundation of a relationship. And trust happens, or a lack of trust happens because some people have been wounded. And unfortunately, you have a lot of people enter in a relationship when they know they have trust issues. And because trust is required, because if you're in a relationship with someone who doesn't trust, or if you don't trust, what you're doing is that you're creating a miserable lifestyle for someone, because There's a lot of control that happens. There's this whole thing of, who you're talking to. You shouldn't be talking to that person. Why are they looking at you like that? I saw you looking at that person. You get into a lot of issues when there's no trust in the relationship. Where are you going? What time is you going to be back? And well, it should have only taken you 30 minutes to go to the store. What were you doing all of this time? This is what you get in a relationship when there is a lack of trust. So
Yeah.
trust is a key element to a satisfying and happy relationship. You must have trust. And if you have trust issues, you need to work on those issues, stay out of relationships until you can fix yourself.
Oh man, come on, Linda. I don't not agree. I
Go
think
right
trust,
ahead.
I think even working or trying to trust somebody is a disease. I think it's a mental thing because, like I said, if you trust yourself, you don't have to even worry about trusting somebody else. You know what I'm saying? Because I know, let's just say me and you. In my mind, I'm so happy go lucky. I'm never gonna put you cheating on me in my mind. I'm never gonna be that. So when
But
I think
remember,
about it, sometimes it's just your mind thinking, dang, they could be cheating on me. Linda can be cheating on me. Linda
yeah.
can be doing that. I'm not gonna think like that's a waste of time.
So
That's a
what I'm
waste of time.
saying, I think we're saying the same thing. What I'm saying, I'm not saying that someone else is responsible for your trust issues. I am saying if you have trust issues, you need to work on that. You, not the other person. You
Oh,
need to
okay,
work on that.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
the individual needs to work on that if they have an ability. I mean, as she just stated, there are some people don't even trust God. So, that, and that's the first level of trust, because when you trust God, then you trust God to love you through another person.
Well, I think a lot of people trust God. What they don't trust, because we all seem to get it mixed up, and I'm trying to make this churchy church thing. There's people, they trust God, but they don't trust Jesus. They don't trust Buddha. They don't trust Allah. They don't trust. Those are the things they don't trust. You know what I'm saying? But they
Mhm.
trust God. So they get confused about who's who. You know. So
Right.
that's my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it is an individual work. People have to work on their own issues when it comes to trust. And the goal of life is to become so whole, so full, so complete that you don't worry about what anyone else is doing. and
Exactly.
and the strength that gets you there is your faith, that spiritual aspect of who you are, because we're more spiritual than anything else. And if you've been wounded in your life and you're still carrying those hurts, that's destroyed your trust. Maybe it was destroyed in childhood, as a young adult, even in your adulthood now. Whatever has happened, you need to seek your own healing that you can enjoy your life. Okay. So let's
Yes.
go to back to the note here. I have another question from someone called Trippy. So what she says is that, I guess this is she used to think that after 1 year of breaking up, one would be completely over it. What is a reasonable amount of time to grieve and to be over it, or over a person, or over a relationship? What's a reasonable amount of time that one should be over that, over a person?
You know
And
what?
that's a good question. You want to start?
Read that again to me.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm
What
sorry. I
she
was
said was
I
that
was answering a text. I was answering a text.
she said, I used to think that after 1 year of breaking up, one would be completely over it. What is a reasonable amount of time to grieve and be over the person or relationship?
That is a good question. I mean, there is no time limit. You know what I'm saying? Because so I'm still thinking about the girls I went out in high school. So but I'm over it. I'm I don't know. I can't even answer that question. I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna use something that we talk about a lot that I've learned over the years. When someone is married and they break up, so like when you're in a relationship, you connect on an emotional and spiritual level. And when that person, you get used to each other as well. So when a person walks out of your life or a relationship breaks, that relationship, the impact of that breakage is compared to a death. And so the grieving process for a relationship that dies, whether it be by divorce or a death, can have the same impact on a person's life. And of course, you do go through a grieving process for that. And I would say that anyone who's struggling with the loss of someone, whether it was a physical death or a relationship death, then you may want to get some help, because I would think that after about a year, you should be doing much better. Now, hear me clearly with this. It's not to say that we forget about people, because like my mom died a couple of years ago. She lives in my soul, my spirit. I still love her. I still miss it. So when we start talking about what it takes to get over a relationship and get over a person, if you really love someone, they may live in your heart. But the grieving process is where we go through initially the shock that, first of all, that happened. And then from that shock, we go through a place sometimes of trying to negotiate either with God or another person, the second phase. And then when that's not working, we go through the anger stage. And then once we go through the anger stage, we go through sometimes depression stage. So how do we get past all of those feelings and those emotions that are harmful to us? Is simply getting to a point where, number one, we have to accept the reality of what has happened. And if you are still hoping that that relationship is going to get back together, that may be the issue there. Sometimes people live in denial for a long time, which makes it much harder for them to move past and get through the grieving process of a relationship breaking up. So what I would say to that, you get to a place where you can forgive yourself, forgive the other person. And then that last stage of the grieving process is called acceptance and accommodation. Accepting what has happened and then accommodating your new life. And sometimes it takes a little work to get that done. I work with a group in Arizona called Divorce Recovery. And one of the things that we did in divorce recovery was take people through that stage of where the relationship ends to a new beginning. How do you get to a new beginning? So if you're struggling in that area, I would certainly suggest maybe getting into a group or some counseling or coaching in that area to help you past that point. I don't know how long it's been. It didn't say here how long it's been that you've been going through that, but no one should be grieving. Think about it. When someone dies, you shouldn't be grieving a year later.
No.
And it's the same thing with relationships. You can miss someone, but you shouldn't be grieving a year later.
Yeah, yeah. When my parents died, both of them, we all grieve in different ways. We
Mm.
all, I ain't, y'all, those of y'all don't know, I'm from a football background. And I listen to my coaches, I listen to stories. And the story was, when you play football, to leave it all on the field. So I'm saying that to say, I don't grieve. I don't grieve because I gave that relationship my best.
Mhm.
I gave my parents my best. I spent all the time I could with them. So when they left this place, I was happy with myself that that's what I did. I left it all on the field. People always, my family used to ask me, why are you always over mommy and daddy's house? And my question to them was, why aren't you? So
Mhm.
when I live my life, I live it to the fullest. I try to make all my friends happy. I try to do for everybody. I leave it all on the field so I don't have to grieve. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people grieve because they wish they should have spent more time with them. They should have made them happy. They shouldn't have cussed them out. I'm not cussing you out. I'm not getting an argument with you. I'm just gonna walk away and then have a conversation with you tomorrow after all this is that. So leave it all on the field with your people. Love your people. That's what this show is about. love your neighbor, love your friends, love your family. And those that you can't love, stay away from them so you can continue to love them. I just posted that on Facebook earlier today. You know, sometimes you have to stay away from people to continue to love them. You know, like me, if you full of drama, and and I know you drama all the time, I'm gonna come up and show you, give you a hug, and keep it moving. And I'm just gonna keep it moving. I'm not gonna stay there long enough so you can continue that drama. I'm not with that. So I am the doctor of love is love.
So I would say to this question, in addition to that, how long should it take you to move forward? You have to really kind of examine yourself, evaluate yourself. Why are you still grieving? You know, is there guilt attached to it? Like what you were just talking about, Stephen. A lot of times people are grieving because of the guilt that they carry. Maybe they didn't do something, or they're concerned about, trying to fulfill a death wish, or but back to relationships. Sometimes it's the whole thing of rejection, where someone walks out on you, someone cheated on you, and you're still walking in that pain. You want to be free. That's the goal in life, to be free, that you can continue to love, because you can't really live. You don't really live unless you can express love. You can be happy with love. You can be happy with yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah, don't be in a relationship. You see, it's a great thing too. Sometimes a great breakup is just the best thing, because if they broke up with you, you really don't want to be with somebody who don't want to be with you. You just got to move on. Just move on.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? So look at everything.
It sure is.
As a blessing. That's how I see it.
Did you see the comment that Toya left for you?
Toy, where
she said, Steve, the trust, I think, is being at question is trusting your partner, not necessarily waiting or wondering if or what they're doing, but having faith that they will do the same thing. They trust you would do the same on the relationship. Basically, trusting each other. And again, the foundation of a relationship is trust, and you have to be able to trust one another. And if you have a problem trusting, then you have to really discover why. Is it something you've been carrying with them? And if you're in a relationship with someone that you feel is not trustworthy because you caught them lying, cheating, stealing, then you have to ask yourself, how do you trust someone who's lying to you if you know they're doing it? So I don't know. See,
exactly. That's why I say trust yourself.
Yeah, these questions have things attached to them, and so you can trust yourself too. I understand you can trust yourself, but I also have encountered clients who've been cheated on over and over again, and they're still saying, "Well, I want to trust them, but I can't because of A, B, and C." I remember this one couple. I was saying this guy was a serial cheater. My question was, why are you still in the relationship with him? And eventually, they stopped coming,
right,
because he was cheating again, and they stopped coming to couples counseling. And of course, it wasn't long after that she decided to leave the relationship. I mean, that's what he did. Why are you trying to spend time trusting someone that? I mean, if you're a liar, you're just a liar. Why are you trying to trust a liar?
Right.
If that makes sense.
Okay, Toy says, some say that after a breakup, you can get over someone by getting under someone else. I've heard that. I've heard that. I haven't heard it in a long time, but I heard it. But sometimes it's like, why leave one problem and then walk right into another?
And in most cases, damaged people tend to miss all the red flags of the next damaged or broken person. Because you have to remember, we tend to attract the same needs we have. You got two broken people coming together sometimes, and it may work out where they can love each other, trust each other enough to do it. I don't know. There are rules to every relationship, but at the same time, there are rules that can be broken. That
exactly
doesn't always apply. So I don't know. I don't know, but I would suggest I strongly believe every human being, when you come out of a relationship, especially if it was a long-term relationship, if you're going to find anything solid, you need to push the pause button, take some time out to work on yourself. There's nothing like going to into a new relationship with the debris from the you got the smoke and the ashes from the last relationship, and you trying to hug on for someone else, and you haven't even taken time to heal yourself yet. So I believe you should take a time out, go sabbatical, do yourself for a while, become your best self, find out what worked, what didn't work, who you were, what you did wrong, and what you can do to become a better person. Don't just go from one relation. I call it relationship hopping. Relationship hopping has never ever been healthy.
No,
It's never
no,
healthy.
it's not. It's not. And relationship hopping. Now, is that considered? Let me see. Break up with this person. How do I say it? I mean, because uh, are you going with somebody, then breaking up, then going to find somebody else and breaking up, then going
Yeah.
to somebody, or are they just messing around with a lot of people and going out with whoever they want to go out with,
What
not
I'm
really
seeing,
in a
the
relationship?
word was breakup. They didn't say just it's a
Yeah,
breakup.
break up. Yeah,
You break up with someone and you go on and you get someone else. Push the pause button. Push the pause button.
yeah. Do
I
you
have
think we
seen
do you think we get into relationships too fast
absolutely.
instead of just waiting
Absolutely.
and getting to know
The average
them?
person is very, in most cases, in many cases, uncomfortable being alone.
Yeah,
And that's one of your greatest periods of growth, to take time out to do some self-discovery. You don't get any healthier there because you find the spiritual dimensions of yourself. You're able to um, tap into your meaning and purpose in life. And see, what happens oftentimes we go into relationships and you're in a relationship with someone who does not does not have a sense of meaning and purpose. You may be a person who doesn't have a sense of meaning and purpose in your life. And so when we come together, past having, if you haven't been in sex, sexually active for a while, you may, or maybe you, it's been a short time, but the point is, a lot of times I think people go into a relationship for that piece only, because you're feeling someone, you get that energy, you get around them and you get the hots for them. And then once you've consummated the relationship, then what? Where are you going? Do you have any because at some point, if we don't discover a bigger meaning for the relationship other than our, just being in their company, there's nothing worse than being in a relationship and still being lonely. You're in the same
exactly.
house, they show up every day, and you're in one corner, they're in another corner, or you're sitting there looking because past the physical, there's really nothing deeper going on. So you need that time out to discover and get to know people on a deeper level. And that goes back to when you're dating for a potential partner. You know, the sex should be, you can have sex anytime. It doesn't take a lot to discover if you're going to be sexual with the person and if you enjoy the sex after. But what happens after the sex, even after you get it? What happens? Then what?
Yeah, what
Most,
happens? What happens after that 30 seconds? 30 seconds.
a lot of times, some people don't even want to see each other again.
You know what? I was going to ask something because while you was talking, what about I have. You'd be surprised how many people that are married and they sleep in different rooms,
Oh, I'm not surprised.
or they haven't had sex in
In
years.
years, not months, but in years.
Years.
They're like roommates. They're
Oh
together for
my
convenience.
good. So,
Yeah.
what is the mindset? What do you think the mindset of a person being in a relationship and you're not even sleeping together? You're not even, I mean, are you partners? You just what, roommates? What is it? Because I'm telling you, it's so many people that I know that, my wife sleeps upstairs and I sleep downstairs in the couch, or I'm like,
Mhm.
what? You do what? Come on, why are you even what? Come on. Like I said, it goes back to some people just don't want to see their spouse or their ex-spouse with somebody else. So they just gonna stay in a relationship. And then some people make excuses about, okay, it's the kids. Where's your mindset out on that?
Well, it could be, you know, staying because I have nothing better to do, but it still boils down to one thing. And I think I've talked about it on here before. I talked about self-actualizing whole people. Now, I truly believe that a lot of times people come into a relationship based on needs, you know, and the first level of needs before you become this purpose-driven, meaningful living person kind of starts out at the D needs. The D needs, or deficiency needs, are the needs that we need, the basic needs that we need to survive, which is food, shelter, clothing, air, water. You know, air, you know, you can breathe without people, but certainly water, food, shelter, all the other things. You know, some people come into a relationship because brothers need a home to go to.
Yeah, I get a lot of
So,
that. I
which
hear a lot of that.
I'm just saying,
They
and
move from
then
female to female just to live, just to have a roof
just to
over their
live,
head.
okay?
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with love. And sometimes women are caught in the same trap because they need someone to pay their power bill or their mortgage or whatever.
Oh,
So we
yeah.
come together out of these needs, as you know, and then we have sex and we have needs that we're fulfilling. But then emotionally and spiritually, we're missing. And then, you know, and so you know, you have the whole security thing where some people are just afraid to live by themselves. And unfortunately, when we have these needs, when we sacrifice who we are as a person, the creation that we were created to be, we sacrifice this person who could be living their brilliance because I I'm afraid to give this up. And so I need this. And sometimes we're grieving over things that if we just let go, we will realize that there is a greater blessing ahead of you. And
Great.
then you know, past that point, you know, some statistics says that 85% of the population gets stuck in the love and belonging needs. And love and belonging needs, people stay in a relationship or in a relationship because they need to love or they need to belong somewhere. Even in the point of abusive relationships, they will stay because you know what, at least I'm not by myself. And they will sacrifice their wholeness just to have someone. And usually the this abandonment, rejection that happens in childhood or throughout life, that's the thing that keep people in a relationship that says, I have to hold on to this because they're afraid of being alone or being abandoned or rejected again.
Afraid of being alone. But that's not just a female thing, and that's just not just a male thing. Because I'm gonna say I'm one. I don't like being alone.
Mhm.
I don't like being alone. Sometimes I do. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I do because that's the time that I think and you
Mhm.
know I plan. That's a great time, the alone time. But like when I travel, man, just being in a hotel room by yourself, and I travel a lot, it is boring. I'm talking about it's boring. I went to Hawaii for like 4 days. I had some meetings in Hawaii. I went there by myself. I didn't leave. I probably left the room maybe twice because I was so lonely. I'm like looking at the beach and looking at the ocean, and like 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll get up and walk out there just lonely. I'm like, I ain't never going to Hawaii by myself again because I need somebody. My thing is, I'm the type of person, I'm a fun person and I'm an entertainer. I love, I wish I could take everybody and let everybody see what I do. You know what I'm saying? Because I go to beautiful places. And when you're by yourself, then
Mhm.
I can't really enjoy it because I want my people to enjoy, you know, what I'm seeing, you know what I'm saying? But I can't enjoy it if I'm by myself, you know, because what makes me happy is making you guys happy. That's me. So we have
Yeah.
1 minute. We have one
So
minute.
yeah, so I would just say everyone has to work on that. You know, work on becoming a whole person. But to answer your question, no, I don't think people are in love and stay together all because they love each other. And even when the relationship is sour, you know, I would sacrifice something in there just to have the other thing, you know, just to have someone with me. And then, you know, we deal with the whole self-work, self-worth, self-efficacy before we feel a sense of wholeness, you know. And when we have good self esteem, it's about knowing that I am enough as I am. I am on this journey of, you know, of perfection or becoming a better person, my greatest self. But right now, today, presently, I am enough as I am. And I feel good about that. that's where people want to go. So, you don't need anyone else's validation.
And you got me. You got
That's
me.
right. You don't.
There
But
you go.
anyways, you're right. Our time is up.
Our time is
Right?
up. I want to give a shout out. Hey, Don, I love you. You probably at work taking a break watching us. So, Don, she said she missed the show, a good show. Next week, tune in 7 to 8 p.m. We have Doug Rashid. He's a producer. He wrote Gangster Paradise for Coolio. He used to be married to Shaka Khan. So he's going to come on and tell us answer some love questions. So you guys, I'm going to post it maybe tomorrow. I want this to be the best show so far. So, but every week is the best show. So you can go ahead and close out. Linda, what do you got to say?
I don't think I have anything else. Sometimes we leave the show and we never talk about solutions. So just keep in mind, if you need coaching, whatever, that's what I do: behavior coaching, relationship coaching, and life coaching. Sometimes we just need, a little help with just getting on track with our life, that we can be our best self. You know how to reach me through the show here. And I think that's it for now. Look forward to it. And thank you all for joining in tonight.
All right. We'll see y'all. You guys have a wonderful and safe weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay. So